Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kenzie Deeren and I have a passion for fantasy books and rambling incessantly about them. I will be posting a minimum of one long form video a week and I'm hoping to increase that as I get used to YouTube. So make sure to like and subscribe because God forbid you miss any of my updates. I know they're very important. For today's video, I'm going to go through 6 fantasy books that are so fantastic. It is almost guaranteed that they will put you in a reading slump or give you a book hangover. However, because I'm not a monster, in the same video, I will also be giving you 5 fantasy books that are so action-packed and fast-paced that they will get you right out of the reading slump that I put you in. I know, I'm so kind for thinking of that. This is gonna be a little bit more rapid fire than most of my videos, so if you guys want any more in-depth information or reviews about any of these books, please just leave a comment and I will be more than happy to oblige. Okay, so starting off with the books that will probably put you into a reading slump because they are just so phenomenal. These are some of my all-time favorite books that I have ever read to date. Like, these are masterpieces and it will come as a shock to no one. If you follow me on TikTok, you know how annoying I am about these books. But we're gonna be starting off strong with my favorite author of all time as of right now, and that is R.F. Kuang. The Poppy War trilogy and Babel, guaranteed book hangover or reading slump. These 4 books are truly some of the most impressive and phenomenal literature I have read to date and probably ever will read. And when I finished reading them, I legitimately felt as if a big piece of my soul was taken out of my body and it now belongs to R.F. Kuang. And I'm grateful for that. I really am. These are some of my favorite books of all time, but I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The endings of these books, when I tell you it felt like my heart was ripped from my chest, put in the middle of a road, and then multiple bulldozers just like ran over it. Like, that was the kind of feeling I had finishing these books. These books will force you to come face to face with some extremely difficult topics. You will read some of the most heartbreaking character arcs and character development that I have ever read in the fantasy genre. And you will also read some of the most tragic and devastating situations and betrayals. These books are epic masterpieces. I truly believe that they are going to be considered modern classics because of how excellent they are. I truly finished these and felt like I was a better person for having had read them, and I am sure that you will have the same feeling. There really are certain stories that I think that everyone should read, especially given the times that we are living in. The themes and topics discussed in both of these books and series, they are so important, and I think it is very important for us to not forget and not breeze over these very important topics. These stories are so excellent that as you're finishing them, you will probably cry, stare at the wall blankly, feel like a piece of your soul has forever been departed from your body, and then contemplate, will any book ever compare to the ones that I just finished? And I hate to break it to you, but the answer is no. Nothing will ever compare to these books. Next up is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranak. Yes, I know what you're thinking, Mackenzie, that's a YA book. Guess what? This book emotionally traumatized me in the best way possible. This is a fantastic book, please. This is one of the most beautifully tragic endings that I have ever read in my life, and it elicited emotions for me I did not think a YA book was capable of doing. And that is why I will forever recommend this. This is a stunning YA fantasy based on Polish folklore, and as I said, this book truly emotionally moved me in ways that most books have not. Granted, I will probably say that about every one of these books on this list, but these are the books that when I was reading them, this book in particular, I was sitting over there on my couch and I was ugly crying in a way I have not ugly cried since like the Notebook, like hysterical sobbing. It was really rather disgusting, but that is just how excellent the writing and the story is here. I picked this up in Barnes & Noble thinking, oh, this is going to be like a cute little like folktale, fairy tale vibe. I was thinking like something like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies meets The Cruel Prince, but Polish. Man, was I wrong. I was very, very wrong. But I'm so happy I was wrong because now this is definitely one of my favorite books to recommend to people. Even though this is considered YA, the writing does not feel YA, if that makes sense. Not that there's anything wrong with YA writing, like I like reading YA books sometimes, but the writing doesn't really feel juvenile in this. It feels a little bit more advanced, and I think that that is why the story hits the way that it hits, because you are just so emotionally invested in these characters. I think the writing style is beautiful, the story is exceptional, and I cannot wait to read more by this author when it comes out, because truly she has an absolute gift for storytelling. Next up on this list, we have Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. This is another book that is in my top books of all time. I read this book at the end of 2024, and I truly feel like I was irrevocably changed because of it, and I will forever be grateful that I had the opportunity to read this story. This is another tragically beautiful story that really covers such a vast range of important topics in a short amount of time. And I truly am so impressed by that, because this book in detail and so exquisitely depicts topics such as colonialism, imperialism, xenophobia, racism, the issue with refugees in industrialized countries, misogyny, morality, political and church corruption. Just so many things are discussed in this book. It's mind-blowing in the best way possible. This story really made me come face to face with my own privilege in a lot of ways. And again, these are the types of books that I think are so important to read. It is so important to read and absorb these topics. It is so important to read things that make you, yourself as the reader, take a step back and want to look in the mirror and say, what do I see of myself in this, or how does this relate to me in a way that I can make a positive change? I feel like it is very important. Yes, I love to have fun reading the next segment of this video is me reading silly things, but I do think it is so important to read literature like this because of the effect that it then has on you. This book makes you question so many things, and although it is set in a fantasy setting, there are a lot of things and takeaways from this book that are very relatable to modern day life. That's all I'm gonna say. I promise you will be a better person for reading this. I think I am a better person for having read this. It will probably also emotionally devastate you and leave you crying the same way that it left me crying, but it is what it is. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab left me so unwell and truly speechless, which if you can tell from these videos, that is a very rare thing for me to be in the best way possible. This is another one of my all-time favorite books. I'm absolutely obsessed with everything about it. I'm actually so obsessed with this book that today I officially booked. I've been talking about this on my book talk, so if you follow me there, I'm finally doing it. I made a tattoo appointment to get I Remember You, if you know, you know, right here, like I think along my clavicle, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted, not that anyone really cares. Anyway, needless to say, one of my favorite books. This book really took me on an emotional roller coaster because of how exceptional the writing is and how exquisitely the writing style complements the storyline. It's a beautiful story that questions humanity and human behavior, as well as what exactly are you willing to give up to get what you want? And is it worth the price that you're going to pay? Like, is it worth the consequences? I think this is a fantastic, almost like a case study on human behavior and human wants. This book really made me think and contemplate about a lot of topics I probably wouldn't have just thought of on my own. And I absolutely love books that do that. I love books that really make you think, that make you question things. This is the kind of book that I wanna like sit in a coffee shop with and just like vibe with someone and just kind of go tit for tat, like talk about theories and thoughts just from this book. I don't know why, it just gives me such that vibe. And clearly my inability to stop talking and like rambling is why I decided to make a YouTube channel. So hopefully me talking to myself and sort of you guys is giving a similar, I don't know. The ending of this book is wild, and I think it's semi-controversial, but I actually loved it, and I wouldn't have wanted this to end another way. It kind of like leaves things a little bit open to interpretation, but I feel like this whole book, like I was saying, it's open to interpretation, it's open to conversation. It's just so excellent. And if you all thought you guys were gonna get one book recommendation video without me going on and on about the Legacy series by Melissa K. Roerich, you're sadly mistaken, and I'm not apologizing. These books are everything to me, and I have been insufferable about them since I read them. I think I've included them in every TikTok I've made, in every YouTube video I made. I don't care, I fucking love them. I finished book 3 in this about a week and a half ago, and I am never going to move on. I'm never going to recover. I literally feel like that Taylor Swift song that's like, help, I'm still at the restaurant, still in the world. Cause like, I'm right where you left me. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm just gonna be here waiting for book 4, emotionally unwell and distressed. Who feels bad for me? I do. Anyway, this is my favorite fantasy romance series of all time. and I'll never stop talking about it. And I did just blankly stare at a wall when I finished book 3 and was like, what do you mean I have to wait like 7 months? I don't think I can, but here I am. Very sad. Now, moving on to 5 books that could get you out of said slump. These books are so action-packed, fast-paced, and just an all-around good time that it'll be impossible to still have a book hangover if you pick up one of these books. Are they all literary masterpieces? No. But sometimes we just need to have a good time, you know what I mean? Okay, let's get into it. Starting off with book 1, you already know that I was going to be including Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is one of my favorite books that I read in 2024. I ate up every crumb of this book. This book is so immersive. I literally brought it every single place that I went for the 24 hours it took me to read it because I was so unwell and obsessed with it. Like, literally probably seemed like such a freak. I had it in the car, I had it in my purse, I brought it to go do errands. Like, did I need it to go like grocery shopping? No. Did I bring it anyway? Yeah. Like, I literally obsessed with this book is an understatement. I don't care. To me, this is a masterpiece. I fucking love this book. Bite me. Okay, next up we have A Dream of Blood and Magic by Olivia Booth. This is one of the most action-packed books that I read this year because from basically page 1, something is happening and you're just like, whoa, like bang, bang, what's going on? I need to know. This was a blast. This is an urban fantasy with feuding witches and vampires and an ancient prophecy. And like I said, I picked this book up and then just didn't want to put it down. I actually picked this up right before I was going to a wedding and I like wanted to be late to the wedding because I didn't want to stop reading this. I just was like, what is this? I need to know what's going on. But that's probably a me problem and probably won't happen to you, so. Okay, next up, Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder is 100% worth all of the hype that it got all over Book Talk. This is romantasy at its finest. This was so much fun. I had a blast from the second you pick this one up too. You're just immersed, you're enthralled. You're like, I need to know what happens. It is just so good. The writing is so addictive that you seriously will just wanna pick this up. Like you'll open it on your Kindle like I did and then like look at the clock and it's 7 hours have passed and you're like, oh, there's my Saturday. Like, it's just so good and so much fun. And the cliffhanger at the end, when I tell you I felt hoodwinked, I felt bamboozled. Normally I read books and I don't think that I don't think I'm a dumb person. I felt like an idiot reading this book when I got to the ending and I was like, I never would have guessed in a million years. I don't know if it's crazy. Pick it up, it's fun. If you are a Bravo fan like me, and you haven't read the Zodiac Academy series by Susan Valenti and Caroline Peckham, what the hell are you doing? The Housewives have nothing on these cast of characters, let me tell you. And although this series emotionally terrorized me, I can honestly say I loved every second of it. When I was reading this series, there were a few times when I literally took the books and like threw them against the wall because I was just so frustrated. But then I was like, thank you, Twisted Sisters. And I promise you'll read this and say thank you too. And finally, Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling is a really fantastic, fun romantasy if you're interested in reading a book about a runaway princess who's bonded to dragons. The story is really easy to get into. It's fun, the writing is lighthearted, and I think that this is a great option if you're in the mood for like a romantasy, but you don't want to commit to like an 800-page book with 18 books following it because this one's like very nicely sized. No, it's not a standalone. Book 2 is not out yet, but it is a very it's not an intimidating length, which sometimes I appreciate. So thank you so much if you have made it this far into my video, and I truly cannot say thank you enough for coming with me on this journey as I just incessantly talk and refuse to shut up. If you guys have any books that you would add to these lists, please let me know in the comments so that I can also add them to my TBR and I will be forever grateful. And please don't forget to subscribe. Bye.